Please be seated. We are about to start the program. Welcome to the CSU Law Alumni Association inaugural annual recognition luncheon for 2026. Please take your seats. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now that everyone is seated, I have the great pleasure of introducing an alumni of our illustrious law school, Ashley Name, to sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam, God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Wow. Thank you, Ashley. You should hear her do the Star Spangled Banner. That's pretty amazing. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 2026 Cleveland State University Law Alumni Association. Everyone has to say that 5 times fast. I'm Jim Salmon, and like a bad penny, I've returned as your MC for this event. I will be co-emceeing your lunch program with my co-chair, Leslie Johns, as well as John Grauer, the president of the Law Alumni Association. Lunch will be served after the invocation by Reverend Robert Dix, and we will continue with our program in order to honor our honorees before everyone has to resume their normal activities, so please continue to enjoy lunch and dessert during the program. I would ask that everyone keep their conversation to a minimum during the program so everyone can enjoy the full flavor of the program. At this time, I would call upon Reverend Robert Dix, Senior Pastor of the United Missionary Baptist Church, as well as personal bailiff to past honoree Deborah M. Turner, Judge in the Cuyahoga Court of Common Pleas. Reverend Dix.
Let us pray. Gracious and eternal God, we come before you today with grateful hearts, thanking you for the privilege of gathering together for this annual CSU Law Alumni Recognition Luncheon. Thank you for the vision, dedication, and legacy of this institution and for the many lives that have been shaped through the pursuit of justice, wisdom, and service. Today, we especially thank you for the accomplishments and contributions of the honorees: 1982 graduate Jamie Lebovitz, 1983 graduate Stephen E. Walters. We thank you for the impact that they have made within the legal profession and throughout their communities. Bless them for their years of commitment, integrity, leadership, and excellence. May their journeys continue to inspire future generations of attorneys and leaders who seek to serve with honor and compassion. Lord, we ask your blessing upon this program today. May every spoken word, every recognition given, and every fellowship shared reflect unity, encouragement, and appreciation. Grant wisdom to all who serve within the legal profession, and remind us all that true justice is rooted in fairness, mercy, and truth. We also thank you for the food that has been prepared for us. Bless the hands that prepared it, and bless it to nourish our bodies and strengthen our fellowship. May your favor rest upon this gathering, and may all that is done today bring honor to you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Good afternoon, everybody. Leslie Johns, class of 2014. I see a lot of Section 2 people out in the crowd, so hey, everybody. I am honored to be co-chair of this annual recognition luncheon, but let us not forget why we are here. So throughout this luncheon, you may donate to the CSU Law Alumni Association. This year, we have an audacious goal of raising $10,000 through our Text to Give campaign. We've already had some generous donors who have agreed to do matching gifts. Everyone has their phone on them, I know. So go ahead and take it out now. And what you will do, for those of us who are not millennials, open to a new text, text the word LAW, law, to 243725, and then you'll get a link that comes through your text. Click that link, follow the instructions that open up in that link, and then you can donate any amount that you choose. So we'd ask that you please consider a donation today. Remember that the net proceeds of this luncheon fund student scholarships. So please enjoy the rest of the program and your lunch. Thank you.
But for this law school, I would not have achieved any of the professional success that I achieved.
But for this law school, I would not be on the Supreme Court of Ohio.
I owe, obviously, everything to the law school. It meant everything to my career.
Our law school was founded in 1897, the first law school in Ohio to admit women and one of the first law schools in the nation to admit people of color. The majority of the judiciary in Northeast Ohio graduated from our law school. 3 of the 7 justices today on the Ohio Supreme Court are graduates of our law school. People like Congressman Louis Stokes, the first black mayor of any major city in America, Carl Stokes, former Congresswoman, now HUD Secretary Marcia Fudge. The list goes on and on and on.
You feel where other people have walked before, who have mattered in this world, and who have made other people matter.
The law school here at Cleveland State is a huge asset to this community and to really the whole region. You can't think about the progress of Cleveland without thinking about this law school.
The fact that our graduates are so well represented in government and education and civic and business and the professions just speaks well to how we've contributed to the community.
You can't throw a stone in Cleveland without running into an alumni who's in a position of power. Our alumni go on to shape and change the city and the county and the state and the justice system.
I don't know that there is an institution in Cleveland, Ohio that has such deep roots throughout our community more than this one.
The results speak for themselves. The alumni of this law school represents some of the best community leadership, not only here in Ohio, but nationally.
What makes this law school outstanding is the culture, and it starts at the top with the leadership of Dean Fisher.
This law school is welcoming, we're diverse, we are accessible.
It's a very caring, committed to excellence, promoting leadership and service.
The primary thing that makes the school outstanding is the commitment of those who have chosen to teach here.
This law school empowers students by providing them with this legal education, but then also providing them with the platform to become leaders in their community.
What this law school did was prepare me.
I was fortunate enough to even try my first case as a third-year law student.
My experience in the law school was extraordinary. You know, I had an amazing education. I had an even more amazing support team.
I made lifelong friendships here. It's not just a law school, it's truly a family.
They care that you're doing well in not just this subject, but your mental health, your physical health.
I remember in the early days of school, they said, look to your left, look to your right. These are your legal colleagues for life. That is the network that you are building from day one.
The school has, from the beginning, been about equity. It started as a part-time school.
I was a night student. I worked as a waiter and worked at City Hall and then came to school at night. And this law school made it possible for me to do that. Otherwise, I would have never been able to go to law school.
Coming to this law school enabled me to see mentors and role models who looked like me.
We care very much about diversity, about inclusion, and we want to make sure that our students who are diverse students feel welcome and included at Cleveland State.
It's very important to support this law school because it's a public resource. It stands for excellence, it stands for equal opportunity.
It just gives everyone an opportunity to pursue their dreams. And once you're here, you have all the assistance you need to be successful.
When students are admitted to Cleveland State University College of Law, we send every admitted student this book, Just Mercy, which is the story of activist attorney Brian Stevenson and his fight against injustice. We send it to our students to send them a message that you should think of yourselves not just as lawyers, but think of yourselves instead as guardians of justice, because that's what they're going to be.
This school taught me to speak up. And I always felt that my teachers had given me the necessary equipment to understand how the law works and what I could do to make it better.
No one hands you justice. You gotta fight for it. A whole lot of fine people have died for it.
Because of this law school, I have lived justice and I have fought for the little guy. It was the confidence and the experiences and the training that I received here that were the foundation of that. When I head into a courtroom and I have a trial and I'm up against some giant corporation that's armed with money and lawyers, you know, I'm like, I got this. I got this.
125 years of having an accessible path to the practice of law. This is just one of the many crown jewels of the city of Cleveland.
There's a lot of history, and for you to have that history behind you to lift you up on all your pillars, it shows that you have a solid foundation and nothing can shake you.
The fact that this law school led in providing a legal education for people who were denied it elsewhere is a huge part of its history and its legacy. So 125 years marks a great legacy, and I believe is a catalyst to the next 125 years.
All right, we're going to start the program. Please continue to eat your lunch, and please eat your dessert. Please donate to Text to Give. Remember, if everyone here donated $10, we would exceed our goal. Just use your smartphone to open the new text, then text the word law to 243725, and you'll get the thing from there. Today we are delighted to honor and recognize two outstanding titans of the trial bar. Today, Steve and Jamie join a unique group of past ARL honorees from our law school. This ARL has been going on in one form or another since 1962. And the only one here that remembers that is Avery Friedman. The past honorees include one governor, one U.S. senator, 4 former mayors of Cleveland, 5 Ohio Supreme Court justices, 2 chief justices of that court, more than 15 former appellate judges, 1 ambassador, 8 federal judges, more than 20 CEOs and top executives of Cleveland industry, more than 15 founders of some of Cleveland's best-known law firms, more than 30 common pleas judges, 1 former Ohio Attorney General, 1 reverend and civic leader, 1 coroner, and of course, 1 former moderator of the longest-running show in television history. And now we add these 2 titans to that group. We hope that this very special day for Jamie and Steve will create many lasting memories for their friends and families. I would be remiss if I did not recognize certain people that have helped make this event possible. Your program lists the members of the 2026 ARL committee. Would all members of our committee please stand and be recognized? Please join me in thanking the committee for a job very well done. And she's hiding in the corner, but over there is our executive director, Alicia Peranzini. Stand up. I told her I was going to drag her out. We really could not execute this without her. She is indispensable. Thank you, Alicia. All of our scholarship recipients are listed in the program, and several of them from the past year are here with us today. One recipient, Ivan Kennard, is on the dais. Please read his story. He actually just graduated this past weekend. And please stand, Ivan. Let everyone know who you are. If there are any other past scholarship recipients, and that includes practicing lawyers who are in the audience, please stand up and be recognized. I'd like to also say a very special thank you today to our past ARL chair, Howard Mishkin, the class of 1980. Howard is a past president, an honoree, a life member of the Law Alumni Association, a member of the CSU Law Hall of Fame, class of 2018. This association has no greater friend than Howard Mishkin. Howard donated the remaining costs of the wonderful videos that were created and partly donated by the Cleveland Film Factory that you will see here in just a moment. Howard, please stand up. Thanks for being you, Howard. And finally, a very special thank you today to our title co-sponsors, the law firms of Nurenberg, Paris, and Reminger. Thank you. For the first time, we're going to have a happy hour afterwards. the young kids on the committee decided that they wanted a happy hour, and they were willing to sponsor it, so I said okay. So I'd like to thank the AJLJ law firm, as well as John Grauer and Associates for that. Thank you. We also like to thank the 17 gold sponsors that are up above and are in the program. There are also 7 silver sponsors and 6 bronze star sponsors for their contribution to this event. Thank you very much. It's that generosity that gets the scholarships that we provide to the students and helps the law school attract some very, very good students to this wonderful institution of ours. There are also many advertisers that purchase a congratulatory announcement in our lunch program. Please take the program home with you, and when you're looking for someone to use on a case or something, please try to patronize those advertisers. In your program, you have a list of our trustees, our honorary trustees, and our life members. Those people have provided leadership and financial support to CSU Law, its students, and the legal community, among others. They have provided COE programs and mentored law students. The core of this alumni association is the very strength of the law school. It's everyone in this room, and it's the mentoring that we do to the students that makes us special. Will our trustees, our honorary trustees, and the life members please stand and be recognized? We are very proud that CSU Law has graduated more Ohio judges at all levels than any other law school. Will all of our fine judges and magistrates please stand and be recognized? Finally, we have a long list of past honorees that are listed in the program. Would all of our past honorees who are here today please stand and be recognized? See, when I brought up Howard before, I don't know if anyone noticed, this poor guy just stood and recognized for everything. That is Howard. Thank you, Howard. Finally, I would like to make a personal note about Vince Lombardo, our past ARL chair. Those who know Vince and have watched him over these past several years know that this luncheon became his passion, actually more of an obsession. And it was always his laugh that dragged everyone both away and to him. I'd like to personally thank Vince and his wonderful law school classmate and wife, Barbara Stanford, for keeping the wheels greased on and the engine primed on this very well-oiled machine. We wish both Vince and Barbara, they are not here today, all of our best and thank him for his hard work for the Alumni Association. And I'd also like to thank my classmate and wife, Jen, for just putting up with me. Finally, a few months ago, the association lost one of our greats, our past president, the 2021 honoree, former Cleveland Chief Magistrate Greg Clifford. Greg was a consummate gentleman, class personified. And when I went to his funeral, found out that he was called Mr. Aloysius. I would ask that everyone pause for a moment of silence in memory of Greg. Thank you. I apologize as an Irishman, my tear ducts are tied to my heart. I would like to now introduce my co-MC and the president of our Alumni Association, John Grauer. John is a 2012 graduate and passionate advocate, in the spirit of his mentor and this association's great longtime friend, the late Joe Jerome. John is a great father, leader, and lawyer who gets the job done and does the job very well. Let's have a warm welcome for our president, John Grauer.
Thank you so much, Jim, for emceeing. Thank you so much for your work this year relative to this event. Obviously, everyone in this room owes you a credit. Same with Leslie for being a volunteer for the co-chair. Filling Vince Lombardo's shoes was not an easy task, and they did it so very well. So, the last time I was up here was 2022, the first ARL back from COVID, and I was speaking about the scholarship which was created for my late law partner, Joe Jerome, who had just passed away. I am so proud today to say that I followed in his footsteps as president, and that his scholarship, which is shepherded by this Law Alumni Association, is still given out every single year. I was right about at least one thing that day: legends never die, and he is one of them. Another named scholarship that's given out every year is the Live Justice Scholarship. This goes out to an applicant who most embodies the meaning of live justice, that being the action-oriented motto of our law school. These two are not the only scholarships given out every year. Between 10 and 15, sometimes more, very significant scholarships are given out by our group every year to deserving students. This is the central purpose of our Alumni Association. Now, beyond scholarships, we do have fun, I promise. We are an organization which loves getting together. Half of our monthly meetings are purely for social interaction, restaurants, bars, and the community. We celebrate together, and we celebrate one another. That's how we operate. We're a family in that respect. Now, a very fun and very easy opportunity to socialize is the early happy hour, which immediately follows this event. That door right there is the door to the early happy hour. We had originally talked about an RSVP plan. We're scratching it entirely. We have more than enough room for anybody that wants to come. Everybody, I hope you do walk through that door. As soon as the band starts playing, there's complimentary champagne and complimentary dessert. And we're going to have a champagne toast to the honorees this year, Steve and Jamie. Another opportunity you should not miss out on is the inaugural CSU Law Alumni Association Golf Outing, which is taking place at the Valier Golf Club on Friday, August 28th. The QR code you can use to sign up is in the program, and it's also on the pamphlet on your tables. Now, Valier is a Metro Parks course. It has a brand new, beautiful clubhouse and reception area. $150 gets you a ticket to the 18-hole scramble, drink tickets, lunch at the turn, and dinner. Can't beat the value. And at that price point, reservations are going to go very quickly. This is announced for the first time today. So please take a look at that pamphlet and sign in right away. Please reserve your foursome or your individual ticket. Now, lastly, we can't forget about our annual meeting, which is taking place on June 11th at the Law School Moot Courtroom. That happens every year. We show up to transition our trustees, transition our newest members of the group. Well, I suppose it wouldn't be a president's message without sharing at least something motivational. Obviously, I've gotten used to being a walking, talking advertisement for our events, so a little something different wouldn't hurt. Now, on a personal note, I always try to think of reasons to push forward when things get difficult, a reason to climb up the proverbial mountaintop when the ascent looks a little bit steep. And I'm constantly reminded that my reason for that is very rarely a thing, and very, very often a person, someone. As an alum of the law school, I would challenge you this year to be somebody's reason for something. Be somebody's reason to come to this event next year. Be somebody's reason to learn more about the Alumni Association, life membership, and its benefits. Be your client's reason, for instance, to be hopeful. Be your law partner's reason to win on emotion, or maybe be successful at a trial they didn't expect to go their way. maybe even be your children's reason to believe that hard work pays off. You see, the honorees up here today are up here today because they did that. They are many people's reason, the reason for the good that happened in their lives. And while I don't know them personally, and I've gotten to know them better over the past few months, I can tell that they are deeply appreciated for that fact, both Steve and Jamie, by their families, by their friends, and by their colleagues. And I congratulate you both, Jamie and Steve. I can't think of two more deserving or two more humble honorees. Lastly, I can't go without giving a few thank yous out. Thank you to Alicia. Thank you to the executive board. Thank you to the co-ARL chairs, Jim and Leslie this year that are on the dais. And I would personally like to thank my team at Jerome Grauer and Associates, Tim, Alexa, Tina, and Greg. Alexa and Tim of my firm are poised to be the next generation of leaders in the CSU Law Alumni Association. And believe me, after this event and happy hour, I am poised to relax a bit and let them do exactly that. Finally, my biggest thank you and all of my love to my family, my wife, Catherine, daughter, Cora, my dad, John, my mom, Tammy, class of 1982, and my sister, Stephanie. At this time, I get the great pleasure to give out the President's Award. Now, the President's Award is typically given out to a trustee who most assisted, was most there for the president within the events of the year. I had a very hard time with that. There were so many people involved in our organization that did that for me this year or were there for the group. So I took a different approach, different direction. This year, the award is going to a trustee who I believe most assisted others, who are not me, not the group, but rather the community at large. Zachary Germanic, can you come up here? So I've had the great pleasure of knowing Zach since my first year in law school. He is just wired different. His motivations are selfless. He wants to help those who are the most vulnerable and doesn't mind getting his hands dirty doing it. Now, prior to joining Douglas and Associates, his decade-plus work in the Slavic Village Development Organization helped lead the revitalization of different neighborhoods within that community. And I know for a fact that his work then and now has improved the quality of life for residents of low to moderate income communities in this area and greater Cleveland. And he performs more pro bono work and has been awarded for that than anybody I know. Zach, this one is for you. Come on up. I don't think either of us ever envisioned this moment, and that's what makes it so cool. So. Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. Thank you. So. All right. Thank you so much, Zach. Well, that is enough for me, at least for now. Allow me to introduce our wonderful deans of CSU Law. Now, a quick story about them. I was lucky enough to be on the dais for the 2026 CSU Law School graduation this year. And I saw and heard two things that surprised me. Number one, a family member of a graduate walking across the stage yelled, "Too easy." I thought that was perhaps the least likely thing you could ever yell at a law school graduation. And believe you me, not something I expected to hear. Number two, the deans and the president took a photo with every graduate on the stage. And when something about that person's outfit, whether it be the sash or hat, was out of place, the deans paused, they took a moment, and they fixed it. They fixed it for that graduate that was walking across the stage. They made sure that moment was as special and perfect as possible for that person. And then when it came to their own speeches, they talked about kindness and expressing that even in the hardest of times when the opposite or the opposition isn't expressing that back. Their caring is genuine. They serve the students, not the other way around. And it is my great pleasure to introduce the deans, and specifically Brian Ray, to give comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Ray. I am one of the two co-interim deans serving this year. My co-dean, Carolyn Bergen-Jacobs, is right over there. This wasn't in my script, but it occurred to me since I was sitting next to the provost, who's a good friend of mine. We made it through the ranks of Faculty Senate, but when it came time to select the interim deans, he said, frankly, I'm not sure about this co-dean thing. He said, and we said, well, you know, what's the concern? He said, well, in particular at Dean's Council, it's hard enough to have one lawyer in there. I'm not really sure I can handle two. You guys always just talk too much. So Carolyn and I took notes on that, and we decided at most events we'll either split time or one of us will represent. So it's my great pleasure to represent the both of us today. It really, really is a distinct pleasure to be a part of this event. I mean, just look around. Look at this room. There's no other, we say it, but it is so true. There's no other law school in the country that can fill a room like this. So I want to first give a big hand to Jim and Leslie for picking up the baton and doing a fantastic job. And on behalf of Carolyn, our faculty, staff, and all of our students, I want to especially thank John. John started his journey as president the very same time that we were starting our journey as co-interim deans. We met at Parnell's, and we said, let's make this, here's what we said. We know we each have a year. Let's win the year. Well, I think John has absolutely won the year, so let's give him a big hand. I want to thank all of the trustees, everyone on the board, but I also just want to thank all of you. As John and Jim said, this association is the heart of CSU law. Today we're recognizing two extraordinary members of this community, Jamie Lebovitz and Stephen Walters, and I want to congratulate both of them. It's been an extraordinary week for CSU Law. On Sunday, we celebrated commencement. The class of 2026, several of whom are in the audience today. If you remember the class of 2026, can you stand up? So enjoy your lunch, but remember, you've got a certain percentage of the Themis bar prep program to finish before the day's over, so not too many drinks at the happy hour. On Monday, I had the privilege to travel down to Columbus to watch our recent graduates who passed the February bar exam be sworn in by the Ohio Supreme Court. Do we have any February bar passers in the audience? Well, even if we don't, let's give them a big hand, because that was a big milestone. And then yesterday, last evening, we had the privilege to celebrate the life of one of our greats, Dean Emeritus Steve Steinglass. I knew Steve. He was a good friend. He was a mentor. I learned so many things about how much more extraordinary Steve was than I knew yesterday. And so that was a special moment for us, a special moment for the family. Steve's shoes are, you can't fill Steve's shoes, but I am honored, and I know Carolyn's honored, that we have the chance to follow in his footsteps. Today, we're celebrating our alumni, the group that those graduates and those recent bar passers are now joining. And we always say, because it's absolutely true, we have the greatest alumni association anywhere. I'm going to say it again, and I want to hear some applause. We have the greatest alumni association anywhere. And this community is great not just because we have amazing graduates, titans in their fields, like our honorees today, not just because, as Jim said, we're proud to be the law school that graduates the largest number of judges. Also, I think public servants of any law school in the state, and I think probably in the nation. By the way, I've been digging through the history since I've taken on this role, and we've made that claim since at least the 1940s. Since at least there's a specific, I was going to bring the quote, but that's amazing. So let's give all of you a really big hand. Now we say that, but this event proves it, right? This event really, really proves it. It proves it through all the people gathered in the room, all of the conversations, all the friendships, all of the mentorships, everything that you do for each other and that you do for our students while they're in law school. I'm a graduate from an Ohio law school. I got a great legal education down in Columbus. I love my law school. I don't hear from my law school. I have great friends, but we don't get together. We don't talk about our alumni association. We don't get called once a year to a signature event like this. There really is nothing else like this. We not only say it back to each other, we say this to our prospective students. We tell them, when you're choosing CSU Law, you're not just choosing a place to go to law school, a place to get a degree. You're joining a family. You're joining a group who will have your back, who will help you out throughout your career, not only professionally, but personally. And again, this event proves it. And because we know this event proves it, and I want to give credit to our Assistant Dean of Admissions for coming up with this idea. Corey, are you out there? Corey Mercer? There's Corey. Corey said, you know what? Let's give Corey a big hand. Last year at our second admitted students event, we had a really nice time. We played, we bowled, we hung out on East 4th Street, but Corey said, you know what? I want to bring these students to the ARL. So we have a group of admitted students. Would you all please stand up? Now, many of them have already said, you know what, I'm coming to CSU Law and I wanted to come and see more of this, but not all of them have made their decision. They had the chance to hang out in the law school. Today, they heard from several members of our Board of Visitors, and I know I'm making people stand up. I'm going to do it one more time. Board of Visitors members who are here in the room, would you please stand up? Well, and in fact, I think everybody who's sitting at that table gave some amazing impromptu speeches today. So I hope, prospective students, I hope you heard that. But more importantly, I hope you take the time today to see that what we claim about the strength of our alumni is absolutely true. So everybody here, if you get a chance, please walk over, introduce yourselves, and tell them why you come back, why you're here today, and why you continue to say you're proud to be a graduate of CSU Law. So once again, I want to congratulate our honorees and thank the association for putting this together. Yeah. Okay, you're not done with me yet. It is my great pleasure to introduce this year's Dean G. Wilson Stapleton Award recipient, Professor Mark Sundahl. Mark is the kind of scholar who reminds us that the law reaches everywhere, and in his case, literally beyond the bounds of our atmosphere into space. Mark is one of the nation's leading experts, in fact, an international expert on the law of outer space. Now, you might think the law of outer space, well, that's just the kind of crazy thing that we let law professors waste their time on. Well, let me tell you, Mark has educated all of us over the years. This is one of the most critical areas of law. It's critical for private practice. It's critical for our national security. It is rapidly becoming one of the most significant fields of law in the world. And Mark created one of the very first space law centers and still, to this day, one of the only space law centers at any law school in the United States. Now, you can read Mark's bio. He's lectured around the world on space law. He's part of several distinguished international bodies that advise groups like the Federal Aviation Administration, as well as the UN. But what makes Mark really great, because it's easy, well, it's not easy, but there are a lot of people who are great scholars, is Mark is a great teacher. Mark created a center, and he didn't make it just about him and his scholarship. From the start, he made it about students. And I created a center, and I still aim to replicate what Mark did. Mark each year recruits a group of space law fellows, students who are interested in space law. He gets them to work directly with him on all of these projects, like white papers, articles that are directly relevant, that are moving the needle and helping to shape what space law means and how we're going to use space as an international community. And he publishes with these students. These students have amazing practical experiences. They get their names on publications, and it's all because of Mark. The Stapleton Award recognizes extraordinary contributions to our law school and the legal profession. Mark easily meets that standard and has done it for years. Mark, congratulations. There it is. Congratulations, Mark. Few words.
I'd like to introduce the provost of CSU.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you so much, Jim. And thank you all for having me. Good afternoon. I'm Nigaman Sridhar. I have the privilege of serving as provost at Cleveland State University. First of all, I bring both apologies and greetings from the president of CSU, Dr. Laura Bloomberg. You know, she called me sometime last week, I think it was Wednesday evening, and she says, you know, I have some really bad news for myself. And I said, what is that? She says, well, I just got off a phone call with the board chair. We have a board of trustees meeting that's going on today, and she found out after reviewing the agenda that she can't get out of there until 2:30. So she and I were both supposed to be here. We both love this event. And she says, well, I can't go. Can you give remarks in my place? And I'm like, yes, this is the best thing ever, right? It's not so great for you. It's awesome for me. I get to come and hang out at the CSU Law Alumni Association recognition lunch while she's still sitting in the board meeting in executive session. So this worked out very well for me. Thank you all for everything. So first of all, congratulations to our honorees, Jamie, Stephen. Congratulations to you, and congratulations, Ivan. I heard Ivan's remarks at commencement on Sunday when we celebrated all of the graduates that walked across and collected their diplomas and are now entering the legal profession. Right? When I stand up here and I look outside in this room, this is the 5th time I've attended this luncheon, and it's by far one of my favorite events that I go to on behalf of CSU because it is a constant reminder of what impact this institution and this law school has on this community. Right? You all are the folks that are our biggest ambassadors. You are our folks that go out and do amazing things for the community. And as I was thinking about what I was going to say in my remarks here, I was preparing, and then I went to the commencement ceremony, and I threw away whatever remarks I had, because the commencement speaker on Sunday was Judge Benita Pearson. Many of you, I'm sure, have heard her speak, and I'm going to repeat something that she said, because I think it struck such a chord with me. She ended her remarks by challenging the graduates, and those of you that are here, I saw a few of you stood up that graduated this past Sunday. Judge Pearson issued a challenge, and she said, the biggest thing that you can do as you launch your careers as alumni, as lawyers, as leaders in the legal profession, is to make yourselves available to others. Give yourselves to others. Make your backs, shoulders, and hands available to others so others can climb on you towards their success. And those words, again, let me just repeat that. She says, make your backs, hands, and shoulders available to others that need help, because that's how all of us stood on somebody else's shoulders. I stood on somebody else's shoulders. All of you did, right? So let's make our shoulders available for who comes next. And that is really what you do, right? As an alumni association, when you gather like this once a year, when you create scholarships, when you create opportunities for our students, when you create internship positions, when you create clerkship positions for our students and graduates, that's what we are all doing. That's what you are all doing. And my primary purpose here is to say thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do on behalf of Cleveland State University and the Cleveland State University College of Law. And I wish you the best for the rest of the day. And again, congratulations to our honorees, to both of you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, now it's time for the main event. Please read the biographies of the honorees that are in your program. Both of our honorees are accomplished and determined leaders in this great legal community, yet both are so giving of their time. At this time, I'd like to introduce Jordan Lebovitz, who is a trial attorney and partner at Nurenberg, Paris. But in this moment, the most important title that he has is this year Jamie Lebowitz's son.
All right. When you start working at a law firm like Nurenberg, Paris, now nearly 100 years old, you tend to inherit things, your writing style, old books, but particularly old furniture. And when I first started at the firm, I was so excited to be shown my office. I get there and it's just covered with every piece of leftover furniture in the firm. And so I start going through things, I start going through the drawers, and I find a case file. It's one of my dad's files, and I'm excited. I'm finally going to learn something. And I open it up and I stop. Because the plaintiff is me, and the defendant is a restaurant in Florida. And then it all came back to me. I was 7 years old, and I got a splinter in my thumb from a handrail. And I sat there looking at that file, and I had one thought: Dad, I am so proud that you went from handling splinters in the hand cases to being a nationally recognized aviation attorney. But I gotta ask you though, did you really have to take a full fee on my case? It has been the greatest personal and professional honor of my life to work alongside you, to try cases together, not just as a partner, but as someone fortunate enough to call you a mentor, a friend, but most importantly, Dad. I am eternally grateful, and so is our firm, our family, and every client and family that you have fought for over the years, for the sacrifices that you made, the lessons you taught, and above all else, for showing us how to treat people. That is irreplaceable. It is my privilege to introduce my dad, and of course, Steve. as Alumni of the Year.
I met Jamie through my law partner, Gordon Friedman. He was just getting started in the aviation litigation area, and we just became friends. And then ultimately, we, over the years, collaborated on a number of very interesting cases.
So Jamie and I went to law school at Cleveland State at the same time. I always sat in the front row. Jamie was one of the cooler people who sat up in the rafters.
For the last 30 years I've worked with him. I learned a lot from him, and I continue to learn a lot from him. Mostly it is about how you deal with people, and he's exceptional on that in that way.
He is very well known across the country. He's worked on many cases with like the top personal injury aviation lawyers all over. He's been in major cases of tragic aviation accidents. He has to work with families who are traumatized by losing their loved ones, and he was able to connect to those families, show empathy, and try to make them comfortable for the ordeal that they were living through.
The reputation and success of our law school is based in large part on the reputation and success of its graduates when they go out in the world and practice law. And by that measure, Jamie's great success and high profile nationally is a great honor, credit to the law school, as it is to Jamie.
I believe that he has been very close to CSU law over the years, and believes that the education that he got was significant in how successful he became as a lawyer over the years.
Jamie's great skill with his clients is his ability to relate to them compassionately. And I think it's because he's a great family man. So he really identifies with what they're going through. His son, Jordan Lebovitz, is an attorney with our firm. He's been with our firm for at least 10 years. He's a partner, and he's a true chip off the old block.
Because of people like Jamie, other people in the world think better of us all as lawyers. Sometimes we get a bad reputation. Thank God for people like Jamie who help us get a good reputation, and for that, I'm very grateful.
Congratulations, Jamie. I'm proud to be your partner, and the whole firm is very proud of you.
Jamie, I am so proud of you in getting this award. It's a great honor to be mentioned as an Alumni of the Year. I know that your family is proud of you as well, and I wish you the best in the coming years.
When I think about this honor, it's strange because it's the last thing I think you ever thought would come about your work. You don't do it for any reason about yourself. And that always impressed me. And you do it well. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jamie.
Thank you, Jordan, too.
Good afternoon, Deans Boring, Jacobs, and Ray, members of the Law School Alumni Association, distinguished members of the judiciary, colleagues, family, and friends. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to the Alumni Association of Cleveland State University College of Law for this extraordinary honor. Being named Alumni of the Year alongside Stephen Walters is both deeply meaningful and profoundly humbling. This law school gave me the foundation to pursue a career that has been and continues to be one of the greatest privileges of my life. Over the years, my firm and my family have been proud to give back to this institution in meaningful ways, including through the Nurenberg Paris Heller McCarthy Endowed Scholarship, the Thomas D. Lambro Scholarship Fund, the John J. Satula Endowed Scholarship, and support for the CSU Law Hall of Fame, which has also helped fund student scholarships. It is especially gratifying to know that these contributions will help future generations of students obtain the same outstanding legal education that helped shape my own life and career. When I graduated in 1982, I certainly never imagined standing here one day receiving this recognition. Quite honestly, at the time, I was mostly hoping to pass the bar exam and convince someone to hire me. I will always remain grateful to the late Marshall Nurenberg and Leon Plevin for believing in me early on and recognizing my enthusiasm and my commitment to helping build an aviation litigation practice for the firm. For more than 4 decades, I've had the privilege of representing individuals and families during some of the most difficult and profoundly heartbreaking moments of their lives. The wrongful deaths of children, parents, and spouses arising from aviation disasters. These cases were never simply about lawsuits, verdicts, or settlements. They were, and always will be, about people, peoples whose lives were changed forever in an instant. The shock, grief, and despair I witnessed while sitting across kitchen tables and in living rooms with families trying to make sense of unimaginable loss are emotions I will never forget. My goal has always been straightforward, though never simple, to do everything legally, ethically, and morally possible to help my clients find answers, accountability, justice, and dignity. The trust my clients placed in me during the darkest moments of their lives has always been humbling, and it is a responsibility I've never taken lightly. Along the way, I have faced some of the largest corporations and most formidable law firms in the aviation industry. In courtrooms throughout this country, my clients often face overwhelming and seamlessly limitless corporate resources. But I learned early on in my career that preparation, perseverance, credibility, and truth can still level the playing field, even against the most intimidating opponents. Practicing in federal and state courts throughout nearly all 50 states has allowed me to build lifelong friendships with lawyers across this country and beyond our borders. At its best, our profession, particularly on the plaintiff's side, is filled with people who care deeply about justice, professionalism, and helping others. It has been a remarkable journey, and one I hope continues for years to come. But as any pilot will tell you, no one flies a mission of this scale alone. I stand here on the shoulders of giants. I think especially of my mentor, Marshall Nurenberg, whom we recently lost at the age of 100. Marshall did not simply teach me the law, he taught me the soul of advocacy. Alongside retired partner Harley Gordon, he taught me the importance of integrity, compassion, preparation, and professionalism. I'm incredibly proud to represent Nurenberg Paris Heller McCarthy. As we approach our firm's 100th anniversary in 1928, I remain energized, 2028. I remain energized by our outstanding lawyers and professional staff. I am grateful to every person at our firm, past and present, who helped build one of the finest trial law firms in the country. I also want to recognize someone who's been an essential part of my professional life for many years, my paralegal, Tamara Reminger. Tamara has been steady. She's been steady, reliable, extraordinarily competent, compassionate, and deeply caring in her work. I remain profoundly grateful for her professionalism, loyalty, and unwavering dedication to our clients. Most importantly, I want to thank my family. To my children, Jordan, Jessica, and Jennifer, thank you for your patience during the long trials, late nights, extensive travel, and countless interruptions that came with this profession. Seeing Jordan become a partner in our firm has been one of the great joys of my professional life. Working beside you every day, Jordan, is something I never could have imagined back in 1982, and it gives me tremendous pride and comfort knowing that the firm's future and the aviation practice I have spent my career building will be in such capable hands. Although I should probably mention that having your son as your law partner also means there's now someone in the firm who's comfortable, very comfortable, questioning your judgment. And perhaps our family's greatest joy of all has been being blessed with 6 wonderful grandchildren who continue to remind me that no matter how important you think you are in the courtroom, your grandchildren are still mostly interested in whether you know how to assemble their toys and when the next sleepover is going to be. But the true engine behind my career and my life is my wife, Sharon. In aviation litigation, I spent a great deal of time speaking with and deposing pilots. But for more than 4 decades, Sharon has been my true co-pilot. She has kept me on course, understood the demands of my schedule and travel, handled any turbulence with grace, and made certain I never lost sight of what matters most, our family. Sharon, this honor belongs to you every much as it belongs to me. And finally, to the law students and lawyers here today, never forget that the law is ultimately about people. Your cases are important, and the results you achieve matter greatly. But in the end, your reputation, your integrity, your honesty, your professionalism, and how you treat your clients, colleagues, and others will define both your career and your character long after the verdicts and settlements are written in the books. This profession gives us such an extraordinary responsibility and privilege to stand beside people during the most difficult moments of their lives, to give a voice to those who desperately need one, and to help ensure that justice is not reserved only for the powerful. Thank you again to the Cleveland State University College of Law Alumni Association and to all of you, for being part of this memorable occasion. Let us continue helping those who need us most, continue supporting this outstanding law school and its many programs, and ensure that future generations of students receive the same opportunities, education, mentorship, and inspiration that so many of us in this room were fortunate to receive. Thank you all very much for being here today and for supporting Cleveland State University College of Law. Be well, be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Some very powerful words. Our second honoree is Steve Walters. Steve, as a former law partner of yours at Reminger, I was always in awe of your calm and temperate demeanor, very similar to my own. Your unbridled love for Renee and the respect and love for your daughters was worn on your sleeve. But from a young partner's perspective, I always marveled at your ability to not just take over a growing firm from someone as dynamic as Mario Ciano, but to be able to do so and say, hey, you little Italian guy, hold my beer. Growing the firm from a statewide defense powerhouse with 8 offices when I left in 2010 to a regional juggernaut of 15 offices in 4 states. And despite your movie star good looks and an impeccable trial record, you always remained approachable, kind, and quietly humble. You never emitted a hint of arrogance. And that is something to say in a profession where so many are very so. You truly are a titan. You never put on airs. Congratulations.
I've known Steve for over 30 years. He truly was and is one of the best trial lawyers that I've ever seen and that I've ever known. And he was known for trying as many cases as anybody, and tries the toughest cases.
Over the 20 plus years I've known Steve, I've gotten to grow to be a close professional colleague of Steve, but more importantly, a friend. I had the dual benefit of getting to train under him as a litigator and a lawyer, and then also as a firm leader.
He is an incredibly loyal person and mentor and colleague. He is empowering. He tries to bring up everybody around him. He's so talented in and out of a courtroom. He's very insightful. He comes up with things so quickly to manage problems and whatever comes your way.
He managed with a steady hand. He was fair. Those are the words that I would associate with Steve when it comes to the role that he played in managing the law firm. And at the same time, he was successful in growing our firm from, I think, 7 offices when he started to 15.
I think I would be remiss if I did not mention the number of CSU Law alumni that are among our ranks here at Reminger. And many of those attorneys were hired by Steve himself. He has done a wonderful job of continuing to build the bridge between Reminger and CSU Law.
We hire students out of that program every year, and he takes a vested interest in assisting with the mentoring of everybody. There's certainly a majority of folks here that went to Cleveland State, and he takes time to mentor every single one of them.
He's deserving of this award on so many different levels. And I would start with all of his accomplishments in the courtroom and his abilities as a trial lawyer, his ability as a leader within the legal community, a leader within our firm.
Steve appreciates the wonderful resource that we have right here in our backyard at CSU Law, and he has positioned us quite well to continue to foster that relationship into the future.
I've worked with him for, over 25 years, and he works tirelessly to bring people up around him, to involve them in things. He truly works for what's best for everyone, and that's true in his professional life and his personal life as well, as the proud dad of 3 daughters.
At the top of his list, I'm certain, will be his family. His wife, Renee, he's got 3 daughters, Stephanie, Abby, and Mel. Mel was going on to become a lawyer as well. And then most recently, he's got a new granddaughter, Josephine. And his family has always been his first priority. He is so proud of them, as he should be.
Steve, congratulations on this well-deserved award. Thank you for everything you've done for me, for Reminger as a firm, for CSU Law, for the Cleveland legal community, and the legal profession as a whole. Congratulations.
You are an incredible leader, mentor, lawyer, and you deserve this award, and we're proud that you're getting it.
I am proud to call you a longtime law partner, but I'm prouder to call you a great friend. Congratulations to you.
Wow. I am humbled and honored to have all of you here. I don't know that I'm deserving of those remarks, but I am humbled and honored by those as well. When I was trying to think of some things I was going to say today, I thought of it as a closing argument in a case, and I always come up with a theme. And the theme I came up with in this matter is why Cleveland State University was so important in my life. And so I'm going to come back and go through those themes. First, I'm going to say some thank yous. I'm going to thank the deans, the co-deans. Thank you very much. Provost, thank you very much. Jim Salmon, thanks so much for that introduction. John, thanks for your hard work. My co-honoree, Jamie Lebovitz. I went to school with Jamie both undergraduate and then we were in law school. We were different classes. But I can remember, you know, when you go to college, I'm going to Cleveland State. I think it was a political science class or something, and a guy walks in a room and he sort of, and his family will get this, sort of floats into the room. You know, you're all insecure and uncomfortable with your, and suddenly this man sort of floats into the room. And I had to witness that my whole damn life. He still floats into the room, and I'm gonna have to talk after him as well. But anyway, just an awesome. I couldn't feel more honored by being the co-honoree. So that's awesome. My class of 1983, 5 of us joined the Reminger law firm from that class. 2 are here, Cliff Mash and Russ Maraglio. Let me tell you about those 2. Russ, thank you very much for putting a ton of time into this event. And for your friendship over the last, I don't know how many, 40 years is it? I don't know, it seems forever. Cliff, thanks for being here. Cliff was, when I became managing partner, became general counsel, so he knows all my secrets. And so don't ask him anything, so I had to share a lot of stuff. I think he's bound still by attorney-client privilege. But thanks for being a good friend, Cliff. And what a wonderful class we had. I'll continue on with my theme. And first, let me thank Aaron, Bill, Brian. Those words meant a ton to me, and they mean this event means so much to me because I am very proud. And I feel very honored by those remarks and very much appreciate them. I thank all of you for being my friends and my coworkers and my colleagues and everything else that I've needed throughout the years. Thank you so much. Back to my theme, why CSU is important. When I told my mom and dad that I was going to go to college and then to law school, I somehow wanted to become a lawyer because I was watching the Watergate hearings or something. Seemed kind of cool. So I told my mom and dad I was going to do that, and my dad, who was a truck driver, and my mom was a homemaker, and my dad said something to the effect of, "That's cool, how are you going to pay for that?" And I said, "I don't know, we'll figure that part out." And so Cleveland State for me was a great option and choice, both for undergraduate school and for law school. And it provided great opportunities. And I'm going to tell you about one of them, because this doesn't exist anymore. I'm going back in time. I needed to work, obviously, to pay for law school. And in the basement of the law school, there was a bulletin board. And on the bulletin board were index cards. And this doesn't exist anymore. But you'd go to the index card, and there were jobs. There'd be like different job postings. And on one of those was an index card for the RTA, the bus company. And the bus company needed a law clerk. And so I took the information off the index card. I called the bus company, got RTA. I had an interview with the general counsel, and I got a job. And then it went on from there. I mean, I left there after a short period of time and became part of a law firm and started doing other work. But my education at Cleveland State provided me the opportunity and the doorway to start doing that. And it's so cool. As I think back on it, and sometimes you have to take back and go, how did I get here? You know, some of it's just random, but some of it happens because it's designed to help you. And so for all the young people and the students that are here, that is really, really a great opportunity for you. We've had, at Reminger, my law firm, 68 years we've been in business. We've had 4 managing partners. 3 are Cleveland State graduates. Our current managing partner, Brian Gannon, who you saw in the video, is a Cleveland State grad. The only one that wasn't was Mario Chana. He felt fancy because he was a fancy guy that he had to go to Case Western Reserve. And he was our only one. Dick Reminger went to Cleveland State as well. But Mario was my dear friend. He was my mentor in so many different ways. He taught me how to be giving. And I think that's the greatest thank you I can say to you is he taught me how to give and how to not worry about giving to other people. And the importance of that in your life. And it's made a huge difference to me. At the law firm, I think presently have 40 graduates from Cleveland State University. If I go through the entire 68 years, we probably had over 100 Cleveland State graduates. So again, it just allows so much. It allowed part and parcel of that, we started what was called the Reminger Foundation. And the foundation, I realized at some point that we were such a charitable firm in terms of our individual giving that we could start a foundation and make a bigger difference. And it did. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful giving opportunity for us as well. You know, in my career, I have represented medical professionals primarily. And I think any lawyer who takes on someone's problem wants to see a successful conclusion. And sometimes they're successful and sometimes they're not. But as Jamie stated during when he was talking up here, the important part is the person that you're caring for. And I really believe that representing medical professionals was wonderful for me because I saw them caring for other people, and they then had a problem that I could help them through and help them through the process. And it has been, as a consequence, a terribly rewarding, venture in terms of trial work. And I've never given it up until this year. So it has been an awesome part of my life. Also here, going back to my Reminger theme, is my good friend Bob Rosa, my brother Ed. Both of them went to Cleveland State University. And graduated from Cleveland State. So it's the theme of, I guess, part of my life in terms of having people from Cleveland State in my life, my wife Renee, who is my biggest supporter, by the way, and if I would say she should be up here, and my daughters are all here, and Renee, to give you an idea of the Cleveland State connection, when I took the LSAT to get into law school, Renee came with me to the auditorium at Cleveland State while I took this LSAT and sat in the outside waiting for me to finish. And when I called for the bar, back then you called for bar results. How ridiculous is this? Now you look it up. Back then you literally had a phone number that you called to see if you passed. Then you get somebody you finally get somebody on the other end, and you're wondering, did they really get my name right? You know, you passed, really? Am I sure? Then you'd have to wait for it to come out in the newspaper. But Renee sat there through that process, and she has been my supporter through all of the things that you can, that comes with trying lawsuits and managing a business. And has been listening and had to listen, unfortunately for her, to a lot of woe is me kind of stuff. But she taught my daughters, my oldest daughter, Stephanie, who's getting married in July, is director of marketing at Target. My middle daughter, Abigail, who started law school for a month and then quit. But she is, if any of you are writing a book, and you need an agent, she is a literary agent in New York, but you have to go to New York. And then finally, my youngest daughter, Melanie, Melanie West, I should say, who is married, and she's an attorney and works. She was so smart as to not want to do trial work because she saw what it was all about, that she went to work for Chatham Financial in-house. And my wife and I are the proud grandparent of our single granddaughter, Jo, and Mel's husband, Sam. What they all did for me as a family was support me. They celebrated my victories. They hugged me when I lost. And you realize the importance of those human relationships in your life. And again, I'll take this back to the beginning. Cleveland State mattered. And it mattered in my life in such a big way. And that is why I am so, so honored to accept this today. So thanks so much. Have a great day.
Congratulations again to the honorees this year. Fantastic, wonderful speeches. We are drawing near to our end, but we do have a couple more items to check off the list. So one of the most important ones is to frame up exactly why we have this event beyond honoring the amazing honorees that you've already heard from, and that is raising money for scholarships. Now, I'd like to introduce Ivan Kennard, a recent graduate I had the pleasure of seeing walk across the stage this week, past recipient of the Live Justice Scholarship that we give out each year. I consider him a friend, and he is exactly why we do this. So Ivan, would you please come up?
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, John and the Alumni Association, for allowing me to have these remarks. Congratulations to our honorees. Thank you for the opportunity to speak amongst you. And hello to the Dean, CBJ, and Dean Ray, as well as those who are standing up here. I believe I'm the one that's between you and the happy hour, so I promise I won't take too much of your time today. It is an honor to stand before you all in front of the Alumni Association for CSU Law. This moment is meaningful because not long ago, About 2 weeks, I was sitting in classrooms, preparing for exams, balancing responsibilities, and wondering what life would look like on the other side. And now, as I study for the bar, I will admit I still wonder what life looks like on the other side. For those who I have not had the opportunity to meet, my name is Ivan Kennard. I grew up in Euclid, Ohio, and graduated from Euclid High School. From there, I went on to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, and later on returned to Cleveland, where I began to work with a variety of social service organizations such as Youth Opportunities Unlimited, the Children's Defense Fund, and United Way. That work deepened my commitment to advocacy and eventually led me to Case Western Reserve University, where I earned my master's in science and social administration with a certificate in nonprofit management. But before I arrived at law school, I understood service through direct work with people, families, organizations, and communities. One of the most meaningful parts of that work was being able to support Cleveland's recreational centers become trauma-informed neighborhood resource and recreational centers. I know that's a mouthful. It's NRRC for short. Which work has been published across numerous scholarly journals since. CSU Law has given me another language for that service. It helped me see how the law can be used to not only understand systems, but also challenge them, improve them, and better serve the people within them. Earlier this week, on Sunday, I had the honor of speaking at my class graduation as the recipient of the Learn Law, Live Justice Award. That moment allowed me to reflect on what law school meant to me as a student. And today, as I stand before you, I get to reflect on what it means to carry that experience forward as an alum. This moment is full circle for me because for the past 2 years, I was in the audience of this event. I listened, I watched, I took in what it meant to be a part of something bigger than myself. One of the reasons I chose CSU Law was because of the strong network. I knew I wanted more than just the legal education and the degree. I wanted to be a part of a community, one where people show up, reach back, open doors, and help each other move forward. Sitting in this room before, I saw that network. Standing here today, I am grateful to now be a part of it. And now, like many recent graduates, I am stepping into the next challenge, which is preparing for the bar exam. It is a humbling experience. One moment, I'm celebrating graduation, and the next, I'm waking up and I'm back at my desk, reviewing outlines, practice questions, flashcards, and my calendar reminded me that the work is not over yet. But I am carrying with me that same lesson that this law school gave me. Persevere through difficulty, seek help when needed, and trust my preparation. That is why this room matters. Alumni are not just people who graduated from an institution. Alumni are living proof of what that institution produces. Through each of your roles, you carry the name and mission of this law school into courtrooms, boardrooms, classrooms, and communities. And now, as I step into this alumni community, I understand that becoming an alum is not just about looking back with pride. It is also about reaching back with responsibility. Students need to see people who made it through difficulty. They need mentors. They need encouragement. They need honest conversations about the profession. They need opportunities, introductions, and sometimes just a reminder that they are exactly where they should be. Those moments matter. So today, I stand here grateful to call CSU Law my law school, grateful for the people who have helped me along the way, grateful for the alumni whose paths made my path feel possible, grateful to begin my legal career at McDonald Hopkins, and grateful for the opportunity to now be a part of this legacy. As I close, I want to leave this room with just one simple ask, and that's to stay connected. Stay connected to this law school. Stay connected to the students who are still finding out their way. Sometimes staying connected is as simple as a phone call, a coffee meeting, an introduction, or just a word of encouragement. I came to this law school hoping to earn a degree, but I left with a deeper sense of purpose in a community I am proud to now call my own. Let's continue to make sure every student who comes after us can say the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ivan. Well, long live CSU Law, this Alumni Association, and the ARL. Thank you tremendously for being a part of it today. It's been the greatest honor of my career to be the president and co-MC of this event. Thank you again to Jim. Thank you again to Leslie and the honorees. Spoke a little earlier about being, somebody's reason for something. I hope us and Leslie and her firm are your reason to attend the happy hour immediately after this event. One complimentary champagne and dessert on us, literally. The band will play you in. The band is going to start momentarily. Don't forget items in your program, annual meeting, June 11th, the golf outing, August 28th, and last chance for text to give. I believe that's posted in your program and other places. Again, thank you so much for coming. We are welcoming up now the Reverend Robert Dix to give the benediction, and then we will adjourn. Hope to see you all in there.
Time has been well spent. Let us pray. And now unto him who is able to keep us, guide us, and strengthen us for every good work, we give thanks for this wonderful time of fellowship, recognition, and celebration. As we now depart from this luncheon, may the Lord continue to bless the honorees. May God grant each of us wisdom in our decisions, integrity in our actions, compassion in our service, and courage in the pursuit of justice and truth. May the relationships strengthened here today continue to flourish in unity and goodwill. Travel with us as we leave this place, but never your presence. Keep us safe, keep us encouraged, and keep us mindful that every gift and every achievement comes from you. Now may the grace of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and the love of God and the sweet communion of the Holy Spirit rest, rule, and abide with all of us henceforth, now, and forevermore. Let us all say amen.
We're adjourned. The happy hour is right through there.